Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently up 4.12% to 22,402. Ethereum up 3.91% to 1216. The market's looking much better today, but we know Rule 4, price moves in waves. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. Please consider sharing and liking this video, and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much for tuning in. I very much appreciate us sharing this time together. What we've just done is a quick run through the crypto market, and you can see that there are always opportunities. I do this every day for you because I want to give you a hands-on feeling of what the market is doing. You'll find this information incredibly valuable as you can look back on it at any stage. The crypto market is like a living, breathing thing. It's always changing its position, and it's really important to understand and see those changes. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, including the tax software I use, and there's a 20% discount as well, and you can always reach out and directly message me on Twitter at any time. The markets have been really brutal recently, and if you're going through a life pullback, please know that our community's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone, and the sun will come out again. You always will encounter resistance in life, but you will always encounter support as well. When you actually go through these downturns in your life, life is actually there for you. You're gaining strength, and you're going to go on your next life rally. It's really important to think in this way. I very much appreciate everybody's comments in yesterday's videos, and of course in all the videos. Bluebird Cafe said, we've actually transitioned into a trader's market. That is 100% correct. And what is a trader's market? Traders don't care about bull or bear. We care about getting on the right side of the percentage. We care about BORSOG, buying on red, selling on green. But this is something that actually requires a lot of knowledge to do. And at times like this, when you might want to step away from the market, step into learning. Buying on red, selling on green is rule 621, and it's very, very powerful. A lot of investors wouldn't know really how to start to trade, and the best way that you can possibly do it is just set even $5 trades. Don't worry about making money. Worry about actually understanding how to do things effectively. You'll learn a lot, and rule 760, start small and scale. If all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell, why not learn more about trading? You're actually doing it already. A lot of people, when they get into the crypto market, they see people throwing around thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars worth of trades, and they say, oh, I've got to do that because I've got to fit in. Just think about it just like going to the gym. You've just started going to the gym. And will you lift the absolute heaviest weight, and that could be your body weight, and try to do a curl or something else with it? Of course not. You break yourself. What you want to do is just to start small. But it really feels bad to start small. People might look at you. What if you don't fit in? Hey, don't worry about other people. They've all started there as well. Another thing that investors really beat themselves up over is going for incredible percent gains, 200%, 300%, 400%, 5x's, 10x's, all of that kind of stuff. Actually, when you're a trader, you can turn a consistent amount of percentage, and you can do it over and over again, and it can be very profitable. This is what I call the 10% per week rule. and it's a concept, it's an idea, and it's really important to understand. For example, if you put $1,000 into the market and made 10%, of course you got $100 back. So you've got $1,100 in total, just ignoring fees and all of that kind of stuff. But if you did that over a week and kept on doing that, your annualized return would actually be something special. A lot of people don't know the percentages work this way. And when you start small, just go in with a $5 trade or a $10 trade, or if you can't afford that, a $1 trade. It is not important. What's important is actually getting the percentage on, well, getting on the right side of the percentage and understanding market dynamics. And there's no better way than to get into the market to do that. But what does this big percentage mean? On an annualized basis, you can turn a small amount into a large amount. And it's not about making 10% a week, because that requires a lot of knowledge and rules and patience. You have to have a real wealth focus, and there are so many ways to buy and sell, and you need to learn those as well. What is important is to take the stress off yourself. You don't need to go for the big gains to get big gains. I'd like to share a BORSOG trade with you, but I need to give you some context. This BORSOG trade was done when the markets were absolutely melting down. In fact, we saw over a day and a half, basically that the market came down 30%. Where did it come down to? It came down to the KSModel level. And what did it do then? It bounced. When prices come down heavily, people run for the hills. They literally run away until price comes back up, they come out again, and if price goes down, you got the idea. This happens all the time. I'd like to thank Brett for his very beautiful comment in yesterday's video. What a video. This was absolutely amazing. Kind of get off your ass and do something and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Truly awe-inspiring. Thank you, Ken. It worked. I'm trading in already. This is fantastic because, like what Badger said, opportunities literally exist every day in any market condition. And you must train up those muscles first, so resist scaling up. Just start on the lowest weight possible. It's also good to understand what Jay said. I know crypto is not going anywhere. It's the next generation of the internet. This is very, very important. Crypto is only beginning, as Buildy said. And I really love what Art said. For most of us, this was a breather day, and yet you came out swinging for the fences. I will watch this update several times at least. Some great points I took in today. Keep your trades small during times like this. Learn to see the opportunities all around you. They are everywhere. So true, Art. Also looking for strength in projects as the market turns around. These projects will outperform the crypto market. Beautiful. Develop your own style of trading. There are so many ways to trade. Just find your niche. Lowering your average buy point is really important. And Art said, sometimes rather than forgiving myself for a bad trade, I make it a hobby to get my money back by trading better. Just beautiful. And Luke really added to this. I feel with an ever-evolving market and price action, this will be an ongoing learning experience that will keep the brain busy and firing well into the future. Luke is focusing on developing his own style and focus on what the market is trying to tell me. Excellent, Luke. Focus on the percentages and not on the price. Absolutely magic. What I've seen a lot of people do, and this is really easy to do, they focus on all the bad news and they dig a hole for themselves and then they bury themselves in that negative hole. You want to jump out of negative holes. There's always opportunity in the market, but if you don't believe it's there, you will not see it. Your life goes in the direction of your thoughts. I'd like to share a trade with you, HNT, which was brought out. I'll just increase this a little so you can see it. So this was actually brought out on the 12th and the 13th and sold on the 14th. You can see what I did here is I just put in $100 levels. One, for example, at 923, 877, 878, and 782, and I sold them all at 977. Now don't forget what actually was happening inside the market when this was going on. Bitcoin was absolutely and utterly melting down. It was melting down for a time, but then it started to really melt down. So I took out one trade here, one trade here, one trade there, one trade there. And then I said to myself, this is a fairly good level that I believe price will come back to in the future. And it did hit that. And so what is the culmination of all those things? I've just added up all those figures there for you so you can see what we actually did in the span of 2 days and 10 hours. We turned $399 into $452, which is a 13.24% return. Don't forget, this is not 10% a week. This is 10% in about 3 days. When price action gets really choppy, we can do incredible things like this. And what did we know? That Bitcoin was coming into a very strong level of support. Of course it was going to bounce. That's what strong levels of support do. A lot of people will say, but Ken, you stuffed it up. You didn't sell at the top. You left money on the bottom and you didn't buy the bottom. Actually, professionals don't even care about that. What you've got to do is to actually go back in time and see what was happening. So price was coming down like this, and then there was a buy, and it was coming down again, then there was a buy, and it started to go up and came down. Then there was another buy, and then it started to tank even more. There was another buy. And then where was the sell level actually hit? When I put these orders in, I felt this was a reasonable way to scale out. Generally, we scale out in layers, but BORSOG trading is a little bit different. Sometimes when the market is so incredibly volatile, you just want to take the profit when you can get it. Please do not be greedy in market conditions like this. It's really good to leave some money on the tables and just take the sweet spot. But what did we see happen? We hit that level, and then what? It started to come down, up and down and up and down. Could I have still remained in this trade? Absolutely, if I wished, but I'm very busy. I'm actually doing these trades for you so that you can see that there's always opportunities inside the market, and you don't have to use $100 levels. You can use $5 levels. What's important is you analyze your trade and you understand what went right and what went wrong and what you could do more effectively next time. And I've got so many of these trades to show you. We're going to be busy for the next couple of weeks without question. Just showing you one trade a day, I've made so many of these. And as Crypto Turtle said, price moves in waves and we can make money in this market. A lot of people are just running from the market. They run away as they should be running in, and they run in as they should be running out. Getting on the right side of synchronization is really important. Your money is at stake. And Crypto Turtle said, learning to earn is a great way. It is a great way. Just start small. Don't worry about making $1 million. Just focus on doing good trades. And Dai actually raises a very important point. Just in reference to learning from yesterday, I still maintain you learn more from your mistakes than your victories. So true, Dai. This week has been a huge learning week for me. I've recorded 3 pages of notes to add to my list of Ken's rules. The most important lesson for me was make in advance probabilistic choices. This preparation would have saved me immeasurable stress. Great lesson. Thank you, Dai. This is really important. A lot of people, I say this in every single episode. Whenever I put up this little 3-way guy, I say, what will you do with your portfolio and or the specific trades you're involved with? If things go your way, go against you, or go nowhere, you must have a strategy. So many people say my strategy is to do nothing. until there is a time where I'm just so freaked out I'll do anything. You don't want to do that. You want to make your in advance probabilistic choices as you go. This is why I keep reinforcing this. And as Di said, it's really hard to do. And my heart goes out to people who are stuck in this limbo of, I know, well, I look at the market today and it's all green. Should I go in more or should I sell? These are really tough decisions, and only you can make those decisions. No one else can make it for you. Like no one else can press the buy button, and no one else can press the sell. And you need to think this way. You need to have 100% responsibility over your trades. And that's not something that the world talks a lot about. The world talks about, well, you should just get a participation award for showing up. There are no participation awards in the financial markets. There are punishment awards if you don't do the right thing at the right time. And that's just a lesson wrapped in prickly paper, as a beloved community member said yesterday in yesterday's video. They're really hard to take, but it's a rite of passage, and the markets are always demanding the tuition fee of losses. You just want to keep them manageable. I wanted to show you trades that were in this region so that you could understand that you can make money in any market dynamic. When other people are running away from the market, you should be running into the market. When they're running into the market, you should be cautious. It can also be really helpful to understand what you're actually investing and trading in. You're investing in the next evolution of the internet. Internet 3.0 or Web 3.0, and all the cryptocurrencies are just protocols that allow money to be transferred around the new economic system. Because it's the next iteration of the internet, it's going to grow every bit as fast as the internet did, and it will change the world to the internet of money or the internet of value. It's going to change everything in ways we can't even conceive. Masterclass students, you'll find this live chart in TM2, and what we've seen, there's very strong support in this red line. This red line is a mathematical line which absolutely captures potential market bottoms. It's done an incredibly good job of that. And what we can see is it's this particular red line, and I discussed this yesterday as well, it does a very, very good job of catching price when it comes down. Can price cut below this line? You bet it can. And that's important to understand. For example, when we had the COVID sell-off in March of 2020, price cut below this line, but that line was a really, really good indication of where the price action to the downside would stop. And just zooming in on COVID, you can see exactly what happened. What happened here was a phenomenal black swan. Basically, this red line was hit, it rebounded, tested again. We could get some of this price action. I'm not thinking to myself that because the markets have turned green, it's all clear sailing from here. When you get a lot of negative price momentum, you can get the relief, but you can also get further breakdowns. And that's what I'm preparing myself for. One key thing in trading, please do not be greedy. If you're greedy, you'll miss your sell levels, and a lot of other things will happen as well. Just seek to actually move in alignment with the market. Move with the market's flow. Think of the market like a river. You're just moving on a raft inside the river. Where the market takes you, that's where you're going to go. None of us can control the market. We're just not that big. So we can see that we've bounced from that red line in the KS model, which has caught bottoms incredibly well over many, many, many years. Does it mean this red line will hold and we won't go lower down? I just explained, for example, with COVID, and there's been many, many other cases that the line has been breached, but it ends up staying above it. We don't know what will happen this time, and you really have to have that perspective. Get out of the concept, bull market, bear market, throw it out the window. Just go BORSOG. It will make you. Professional investors are legendary at doing things like this, getting in when the market is turning blood red and doing incredibly well out of it. You want to be like that. Don't run. Face the fire. But just remember, this breach in resistance is a very sharp breach. We can see sharp angles reflecting, so we would expect that. We could come up more, but just be aware you must be cautious at this particular time. Don't go all in and more. And I always argue that you should never go all in and more. So many greats have gone all in and more and wiped themselves out. A lot of people talk about leverage. As a community, we do not leverage. Can you imagine if you have losses and you have those losses at spot, which means you can own it and you can just sit it out? Imagine if you had those losses under leverage. That'd be 2, 3, 5, even 10 times greater. The only way to get rich is to get rich slowly. All the people that want to get rich really fast get poor really fast. That's why I developed this framework to help people to understand how to move in alignment with the market. And the market's always changing its character. First thing we do is to mark up our charts with the CTKS method. That gives us hidden price dimensions that you just can't see without it. Then we check the stock markets, check world events, collect probabilities. You can see just how important doing that is. If we look at the Fed's actions in terms of interest rate hikes, the market is pretty happy with what is going on at the moment. But what happens tomorrow? We've seen this in previous Fed meetings. The market will rally, then it will tank the next day. Just be cautious. That's why I suggest you just start small and scale. Just pick up the lightest weight if you're new to weightlifting. The only way to lift the really heavy weights to do the really big trades is to start with really small ones. And then we go into the timing section to find the market's focus, understanding that opportunities do reset daily, and you can see they do. But before you buy and sell, you must have a positive excellence real wealth focus. Why is this? Some people are inherently negative. They're looking like Chicken Little for the sky to fall. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. It was an acorn, Chicken Little, but that's how the story goes. The concept is if you look for negativity, you will find it everywhere, and it will take you out of the market. When you should be in, you'll be out. And when you should be out, you'll be in. So many people are so crazily negative. They're just like detectives only looking for negative news. You've got to look for both, negative and positive, to be balanced, to master your emotional control. And of course, it's really tough when you put your money on the line. You just say, well, I just want a guaranteed return, just like bank interest. But a bank doesn't give me any interest. But I want it to be safe. I want 0% loss. The only people that will offer you 0% loss are scammers. And if you encounter them, run like hell. The way that you actually take money from the market is to move with its ebbs and flows. There are so many ways to buy and to sell, and we cover that in depth in the masterclass. One critical thing that we need to do is to look at the stock market's gravity, because Bitcoin cannot escape it, Rule 225. When looking at all the stock markets right across the world, what do we actually see here? And masterclass students, you get my live chart in LV19. We can see the markets have been undergoing severe negative momentum, and they've been doing so for quite a long period of time. Even so, you already know that there's always opportunities to BORSOG. I found that many people think that their country is immune from what the US market does. For example, if the Nasdaq and S&P 500, Dow Jones, Russell 2000, they all tank, they say, oh, my country is so far away from the US, it's got nothing to do with it. And then their markets tank as well. And they're saying, what happened? Because the US has about 60% of every dollar of investment flow into it. That's what happened. And this is really important for you to understand. All financial markets are interconnected and intercorrelated. So we can see that Bitcoin is coming up. What actually happened when we look at the fear, the VIX, the fear gauge of the stock market? What did the VIX do? It hit that level. You notice it hit one level, hit the next level, come back to that level. The fear has backed off. What does that mean the price is doing? Price has bounced because there's a lot of support under there that I explained quite a few days ago. It's still there. It's not the end of the world. It's quite amazing to look around at different news stations and what they do. I've never seen a group of more depressed people. They're saying, oh, it's the end of the world and this has happened and that has happened, and they transfer those emotional states to you. You can do yourself a favor and turn off the news. Nobody needs that stress. So how do you know what's going on? You look at the charts. This is what we do. Don't forget, the news got you in at the top. It's going to push you out at the bottom. Just be really, really careful of the games that are played in financial markets. And these games have been going on for centuries. Let's look at bond prices. We saw a kick up. Bond yields a kick down. What did we also see? Gold rallying up. What did the dollar do? It started to come down. And what are we noticing with oil? It's starting to break its upward pattern. What about the put-call ratio? We can see that there's still bearishness, but it's starting to curl over. Very interesting. And junk bonds. What are junk bonds doing? Because they're high-risk investments. They're starting to come up. When you see this curling up, junk bonds curling up, that's a time that you want to pay attention to the gravity that follows. And Masterclass students, we of course do deep dives into these things. You'll receive my live chart in TM6. Please do not get sucked into the narratives that the big corporations seed inside financial markets. They say it's all over, imminent death is coming, it's the collapse of everything. And we've been hearing that since COVID, a couple of years. The concept is there's always opportunities in the market, but I believe the opportunities are on the trading side of the equation now. Not so much the investing side, as Bluebird pointed out in her comments. We can see that the Nasdaq has come up a little bit. I wouldn't get overexcited about this particular movement, and you can see Bitcoin has come up a little bit as well. Again, personally, I'm not super excited about this move. We could have more negative pressure come into play. But you might say, Ken, but you told us those highs are mathematically protected. They certainly were, but the markets are always changing their character. We must be flexible. Inflexibility and negative thinking are two of the greatest causes for losses. And we saw the 10-year and the 5-year both come up in the past session. This puts the Fed in a really difficult position when it comes to inflation. So the truth is, we just let the charts speak to us through Rule 359, be on the right side of the percentage. And I'm going to give you trade after trade every single day, showing you how to get on the right side of the percentage, even in the worst times. Let's have a look at the 24-hour percent losers. The greatest losses were in Leo, down 7%, XMR down 2.4%, KCS 1.3 down, Gate Token GT 1.2 down, and then pretty much stable coins. Let's go the other way. The greatest gainers: BAT, Basic Attention Token, EGLD up nearly 22% for both of them. Bora up nearly 18%, Theta up 17%, Helium HNT up around 17%, and Ape 15.6%. You can see it doesn't matter what, there are always opportunities. This is why you should start small and scale. And the reasoning behind that, when a lot of people see really explosive movements, they want to go all in and more. It's like going to the gym for the first time and picking up the heaviest weight, and this could be more than your own body weight, and saying, I'm going to lift that. You'll pull every muscle in your body. Well, not all of them, but quite a few of them. You don't want to do that. You want to start small and to scale up and up and up, and don't care about the people standing around you and others, what other people are doing, because they've probably actually taken years and years to get to their states. Rule 45, No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Just as Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity either. Bitcoin is currently trading at 22,497. It's a really good rally, and we love this, but we also know that we've got to be careful. With such negative momentum at play, expect more negative momentum. Does that mean it's just going to be coming down to E or something lower? Not necessarily. It could go up. That's why you need your three-way strategy. When you look at any particular trade, know what you will do if you enter and price goes for you, goes nowhere, or goes against you. And what is this white line? This is the Nasdaq futures. You can see the futures are pointing up, but they're going to come into resistance. Be aware of these things. When it comes into resistance, what does that actually mean? Bitcoin is coming into resistance at the moment. It means resistance is like a roof. It will push price down. Why does it do that? Because there are sellers wanting to go short up there, wanting to ditch their holdings, longs wanting to ditch their holdings as well. And this is what we must be aware of. Price is always moving in a wave, going up and down and up and down. And you have to have three-dimensional thinking. Think about what would be the best case scenario, what would be a boring scenario, what would be the worst case scenario. You want to think like that all the time. And of course, don't just think like that, have a strategy. And so keep on top of things is really, really good. Let's have a peep at the longs and the shorts. We see the shorts in this red line. What are they doing? They're increasing in confidence. What do we see the longs doing? They're also increasing, but not at the same rate. So let's have a look at liquidations and see how this is all played out. And of course, one important thing, where do you think price will be in the next 24 hours? Do you think it will be C, B, A, E, or something else? Please let me know in the comments. Over the past 24 hours, we've had 533.88 million in liquidations across nearly 160,000 positions. When we look at the past 24 hours, we can see about 51% is long liquidations. And then the past 12 hours, around 63% short. The past 4 hours, nearly 76% short. And the past hour, nearly 87% short. Okay, so what is happening? The shorts are getting hammered. That's the technical term. But it's actually quite interesting. When we look at total liquidations by day, we can see that the shorts and longs, the longs have been more liquidated than the shorts, but always keep in mind that the shorts and the longs are always getting liquidated. If you're under leverage, it's just a question of when your account will be wiped out. Unless you're a professional, then it will just take longer. And of course, there's nothing wrong with using leverage in the stock market or Forex. You have to, because the price movements are so minuscule. Otherwise, it's like watching grass grow. But crypto is already inherently volatile. It's the most volatile market on the planet. Let's have a look at the top crypto projects. What I would like you to do, in the comments, please tell me out of these 8, which is the strongest crypto. And now the question is, why do we even care what the strongest crypto is? Please leave your thoughts on that as well in the comments. So 1, identify the strongest. 2, why does it matter? This kind of active learning will take you places that passive learning never will. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. We can see its gravity seeking to get above this resistance level like we've spoken about. What about when we overlay Bitcoin's gravity onto Ethereum? We can see Ethereum very close to the same position. What about Binance Coin? It's over that. Binance Coin is making its way up. What about XRP? XRP is also over that resistance, coming into this resistance here. What about ADA, Cardano? ADA has got a very different resistance pattern, doesn't it? And this is really interesting. There's a lot of very, very good news around ADA. So that is definitely one to watch. But be mindful of the fact that if Bitcoin comes down, what's going to happen to ADA? Please let me know in the comments. When we're looking at Solana, what's Solana doing? Moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity here, reflecting these ups and downs, and then what happened? An overextension to the upward direction. This is how actual gravity plays out. This is why we love the ALTS. The ALTS are absolutely awesome. And what do we see? Solana is getting above all of these levels of resistance. So the next one, 37.40, and the higher one around 40.12. What about Doge? Doge has overcome its resistance and is partying at the moment. What about DOT? Overcome this resistance and getting up to the next resistance level around 870. So please let me know which one of these is strongest and why does it matter? And you might remember yesterday I just did a kind of a call out. I said keep your eye on one of these 8. Please let me know if you remember which 8 it was, which one of the 8 it was. Let's have a look at some community favorites. We can see Theta really going for it. It's broken out of this resistance. It's sliced through the resistance. It's partying. What do we see with Waves? Waves getting up to the top of its resistance. What about SHIB? Starting to party, getting over resistance. What about EGLD? Just shot through. And this is what cryptos do all the time. And this is why it's really important to understand the behavior of specific cryptos. When you understand that a crypto doesn't constantly improve at a linear rate, it just doesn't go up X dollars per day. It does stuff like this. It explodes and implodes. Very important to understand that. What about Phantom getting up to the top of this resistance? CHR still under resistance, but has gotten across this tight level of resistance. And we can see this is what Bitcoin is forcing all the alts to do. And this is good stuff. Loopring coming into its resistance level. Kyber Networks, KNC, up and down, but looking pretty good, coming into a resistance level, but over this particular resistance, which is now support. Turning to the metaverse, we can see Sand starting to party. What about Axie starting to party as well? What about Decentraland Mana? Party time. Gala going for it. This is why many people talk about alt season. I'd like to say it's always alt season, either to the positive direction or the negative direction, because as Bitcoin gravity goes, so too does the alt. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. A lot of people have very old-fashioned ideas. Things like Bitcoin dominance. When Bitcoin dominance does X, actually when you look into Bitcoin dominance, the signal is incredibly slow and it's not a good trading signal. It might be okay for an investor. That doesn't matter if they miss a window or 2 or 3 or 4, but Bitcoin dominance is basically a very amateur way of looking at trading. I'll actually do an episode on Bitcoin dominance. You have to be really careful of Bitcoin dominance. Having a look at Engine Coin, you can see sharply rising. Ape also sharply rising. Chili's going for it. GMT also going for it. This is the beautiful thing about Bitcoin's gravity. It's impacting the entire crypto market. We can see Stellar just moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. CRV also. AVAX also. Arweave also just moving in alignment. Zilliqa just a little bit weaker than Bitcoin's gravity. Uni starting to kick up, starting to show some strength. And look at Tron. Tron was not doing so well, but has staged a bit of a rebound. And we can see FTT is also sharp angles reflecting. NIA is looking quite good, but be aware, these sharp angles, what do? They have to come in and find support at some stage. It doesn't mean they just can't rock and roll, just go up and up and up and up. They can do that as well, but just beware what happens eventually. They must come back and find support somewhere. Let's have a look at Matic. Matic very suppressed. Icon starting to party. VRA having a lot of trouble getting through that resistance level, but you can see it's basically following Bitcoin's gravity. It's a bit stronger than it as well. and Rose starting to take off. Kasama doing really nicely, powerful. IOTA doing really well. T-Fuel also doing well. You want to keep your eye on anything in particular that over-exaggerates Bitcoin's upward momentum. Be careful, because it can over-exaggerate the downward momentum as well. So when the time is right, they're fantastic to get into. As all investors become traders, anytime they buy or sell, it's really important. If you're an investor, you must learn how to trade. I think it's a must now. Before, it was a bit of an optional thing. Maybe you could or you couldn't, but the market conditions are going to be incredibly volatile, and that volatility can make you a fortune if you know how to trade. And I'll be sharing BORSOG trades with you for the next couple of weeks to prove that it can be done. A critical thing to do is to get out of this retail way of thinking. I can always tell someone who is a retail thinker, and retail thinking is a guaranteed way to lose money. Retail always blames. It's a very unfortunate thing. When you blame, you are disempowered as an individual. It might feel nice to say, oh, that person did it, or this did it, or the economic condition did it. It's not what professionals do. Professionals just look at it and say, what can I learn from this? And there's a lot of forgiveness on the smart money side as well. You won't get every trade correct, and that's fine, because the markets always demand the tuition fee of losses. But if you're out there blaming, you're making your own life miserable, and you're making people's lives around you miserable as well. The best thing that you can do is to just step back and learn how to float. You just take it all in. What did I learn from this? What can I do better? And the thing that you can do better is ditch emotion altogether. Move across to smart money thinking. Have that professional, unemotional mindset. Look at the chart. Don't listen to the news. They'll warp your brain. Basically, just think about, what is the chart telling me? Where is the support level? Where is the resistance level? What's my risk to reward ratio? If I get in here, can it move high or not, or only a little bit? That's the risk to reward ratio. And this is really vital to understand the role of percentages. And of course, BORSOG is a very powerful rule, but you have to know what you're doing. You can't just mindlessly apply it and say, well, I heard it's like buying in levels down. Why doesn't it work? Do you have the knowledge? If you don't have the knowledge, the markets will not pay you. One of the fastest ways to enjoy life, to really love life, and to also open up learning potential is to live a life of positive excellence and maintain real wealth foundations, such as kindness, gratitude, happiness. Many people would love to be in the position that you're in, even if that position is that you've lost a lot of money. A lot of people don't have money to lose in the first place. And what I mean is they don't have the money to put in the market in the first place. If you're putting money into this market, you're already exceptionally privileged. It's a very nice thing to look around and have a spirit of gratitude. If you do so, you open the pathways to learning. And also forgiveness. Forgiveness is really important. And that's not forgiveness to other people. It's forgiveness to yourself. If you're sitting on losses, and who wouldn't be in this market? Because it's just a natural thing. Unless you're a trader, if you're an investor, you're sitting on losses for sure. Because the markets have come down by leaps and bounds in a short interval of time. That's why we need to zoom out. If you think about how the markets are actually moving, it's going up exponentially. I asked many times in the different videos, if you were experiencing a COVID sell-off, would you buy? And this was on green days. And of course, everybody says, yeah, I would buy that. But this is actually what a COVID sell-off looks like. It's really painful to most people. They wouldn't see the opportunity. They would only see the loss. And don't forget that COVID came down, went up, came down, went up, came down. Beware of choppiness, everyone. And if we go back to the capitulation of the 2016 halving cycle, and we always talk about halving cycles, not peak years, because the cycle is a basic 4-year cycle until proven otherwise, so we just go with it at the moment. What you can see is that things sell down, hit the green line or hit the red line, go green, go up, go down, go up, come down. Please be aware of this. I want to prepare you. And if we go to capitulation in the 2012 halving cycle, what do we see? Price came down, sliced through, came back up, came back down, went back up. So many BORSOG opportunities in this kind of price action. Please be aware of that. You are surrounded by opportunities. The opportunities haven't left the market. They're everywhere. It's often really good to zoom out and just understand, this is on a 2-day basis, how this market is actually moving. And we've had so many black swans in here. They've artificially suppressed price. Does that mean this red line will hold? Time will tell. But so far so good. But the truth is that we really don't care as traders. We can trade any market. And if you think the BORSOG way, you are going to be definitely more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I thought it would be good to talk about in the comments, does negative thinking bring you a positive life? It's really important to discuss this. As traders, we're always looking into the market and there's always risk and return everywhere. But if you're thinking negative, will that create a positive outcome for you, or will it do something else? I think it's really important to talk about, and I would love to share those particular thoughts tomorrow. And thank you to everyone in our beloved community for sharing your thoughts and ideas. It's just so wonderful to have those and be able to share them here. As Art said in yesterday's video, in this kind of market you have people panicking about their losses and others who are recognizing the beautiful opportunity being presented. I'm glad I'm on the latter side this time around. Well done, Art, and well done to everybody that's in that position too. And we might like to talk about how do we help people to get from that negative thinking into the opportunity thinking. That's also really, really helpful to people. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for assisting Masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use, and you can get a 20% discount on that. You can also reach out and directly message me on Twitter at any time. And you might also like to use your time very effectively and to go through the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. If you reach out to an ambassador, you can get 80% off just by clicking that link. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.